Well, in London at that time, you know, the Beatles were in the same nightclubs I was in. Walter Shenson, who was, you know, connected with the film, knew me. And it was one of those things where somebody would say to you, would you like to be in a movie with the Beatles? And you say, great, because I love the music, I know them. Yes, of course, I will be in it. And it was also shot in a nightclub I belonged to called the Garrison, which was quite a famous nightclub at the time. And so I found myself very at home dancing away in a place I was dancing in every night anyway after I'd come out of the theatre, because I was in a long-running show at the time. So it was really no big effort for me, but great fun. And I mean, now part of history, really. In fact, Albert Finney said to me, I was watching Hard Day's Night in Tokyo, he said, and suddenly you appear to be propelled like a rocket out of a dance scene. He said, the most extraordinary thing I've ever seen. The Japanese roared with laughter. They thought that was very funny. I said, well, that was my normal dancing, actually. They said, you know, whatever you do, Ringo's going to do whatever you do. And I thought, well, let's see if he can jump as well. But I used to often jump. I mean, I was completely mad in those days, obviously. And I would do a lot of jumping up and looking around and coming down again. And then a lot of other people would start jumping. Ringo, he jumped about 3 inches off the ground, I think, yes. But I used to get on, and I think he said to me, come in number 14, your nose is up. And I mean, they had another language, the Beatles, but it was very funny.
But don't rush none of your 5-bar gate jumps and over sort of stuff. What's that supposed to mean? I don't know. I thought it just sounded distinguished like.
Although I think maybe Swinging London was about 800 people in the 60s. 800 people who used to go to Bieber's, used to go to Vidal Sassoon's, used to dress that way, and the rest of England saw it in newspapers, and everybody anyway, in any other country thought the whole of England was Swinging London, basically. It wasn't. It was London. And when the Beatles came to London, they integrated themselves instantly into it and became part of it and fashion leaders in it, basically. The thing is, the Beatles sort of, and the film, melded in so well with the life of London that you've got a good slice of what London was like in that small area of London. That was it. That was Swinging London. It was wonderfully represented in the movie. Their music was so great, everybody loved them so much, and of course they had naturally they were taken over by, you know, the people that made their clothes, and they fitted in perfectly. And they removed a lot of social barriers as well, you know, because they had great talent, which a lot of the other people in London didn't necessarily have great talent, they just looked good. I used to go to their parties, I used to know them very well. In fact, I think about 4 years ago I was in the same hairdressers as George Harrison. George said, how are you all right? And I said, yes, I'm fine. I said, actually, I come from the north as well, George. He said, you don't sound like it. And I said, well, I could talk like that as well if I have to, you know.
I'm afraid I don't understand.
Oh my God, he's a natural.
I must say that they seemed so natural in the film that you felt that they'd made up all their own dialogue, and the writing was so clever. They had really written them, it was written for them. So there was nothing they said that wouldn't have been a normal thing for them to say. They never came out of the character that I knew them in nightclubs. It was just like a continuation of their normal life. It was no difference at all. They never seemed to be trying to act. I don't think they ever did try to act. They just did the lines that were given to them, but they translated them themselves, and they were just perfect. I mean, that's why I think it's such a wonderful movie, because it's as though they've walked out of the crowd. They're famous people. You saw all the girls screaming and crying, and that's exactly how it was. I mean, they caused absolute mayhem wherever they went. The people who were with them always thought it was amazing. You know, there was another group of people that they were gods to. To us, they were just, you know, they were very talented friends. There's nothing bad you could say about them, you know. They were really a good example, I thought. Everybody wanted to be like them, you know. They all had their hair cut like the Beatles, you know. They wanted to wear Beatles suits, and they queued up and screamed every time they appeared. And so one realizes, looking back, just how amazing it was, but you didn't realize it necessarily so much at the time. I mean, you knew the effect they had at the time, but you didn't realize you were involved in something that would be going 30, 40 years later, you know. So hello, here I am, still.